first question is enemies to lovers or friends to lovers? Gosh, coming straight out the gate with a question that I am going to roll my eyes at. Neither. Hello, my lovely book friends, and welcome back to my channel. So in the past year, since last December, I have been making content on various platforms: Bookstagram, BookTok, and BookTube. BookTube being the last thing that I added to my list of things that I was doing in the book world. And in these past 10 months, I will say, or maybe closer to, no, it's been about 10-ish months now, 10, 11 months, I have learned a lot about BookTube. I've learned a lot about community. I've learned a lot about just having fun and making content and just connecting with other book lovers. Like, it has been truly such an adventure to have a BookTube. My goal isn't to be some famous booktuber. It's really just to create a space to share with other book lovers. And I feel like I've been doing that. And it's been a lot of fun. And it's taught me a lot of lessons. And I've got to meet some new book friends, like virtual book friends. And it's been fantastic, and I couldn't be happier with the outcome thus far in these last 10 months. However, I really took some time and just kind of go back and look at my videos since I made my top 15 reads video of 2024, which I will screenshot right here in case you guys have not seen that. That was the very first video I posted last December. But I realized I really never took the time to make a video about myself. I really jumped straight into it. I talked about my top reads of last year, and I just started making content from there, like various videos. As you guys have seen, I've done reading vlogs, I've made different shorts, I've reacted to reviews, I've gone to different book events, I've done a lot, and none of them really gave you any inside look about who I am as a person. And I really thought about it, and I was just like, why haven't I done that? Like, why have I not just taken the time to actually like really get you guys to get to know who I am as a person? It's nuts. And so that is exactly what we're going to do today, which I'm pretty sure you picked up in the title of today's video. But it's just an opportunity for us to talk about who I am as a person in a book sense, if that makes sense. And hopefully that gives you a little bit more information about just who I am as a person overall. So when I was thinking about this video, I was like, okay, well, what are some questions that maybe people would want to know about me? Now, I would have done a poll on Instagram, but I had this idea literally like 3 hours ago. And I just didn't have time to run a poll and let you guys tell me what you wanted to know. So hopefully the questions that I threw in via just some other videos that I've seen where people were introducing themselves on their BookTube will help give you guys a sense of who I am. However, I will say if there's anything else you want to know, just drop a comment and ask a question. You can message me on Instagram, on TikTok, whatever is the case. If there's something that you're just interested in knowing, I'd be happy to answer. We're gonna just start off with a couple of basic questions. Again, these are just things I've compiled from different videos, different content creators, as well as the beautiful ChatGPT. We're just gonna start real basic with like just mostly my reading journey overall across life. So we'll just start there. The very first question is, when did you start reading? The very first question is, when did you start reading for fun? So I started reading for fun literally when I was 3 years old. So I learned how to read when I was 3 and literally immediately started loving books and stories and all the things. So it was very much encouraged to read a lot in the household I grew up in, both in my parents' household and my grandparents' households. I was reading. So not only that, but like there was an atmosphere of positivity around reading. It was encouraged, it was fun. It was part of my nighttime routine to read a book. It was part of my daily routine to read words. It was just a fun activity. And as my reading increased and grew, I started reading books very quickly. I loved Dr. Seuss books growing up as a kid. One of my favorites was Go Dog Go, Marvin K. Mooney. Like I loved books like that as a small child. And of course, as I got more advanced as a reader, which would have been a very advanced reader for a very, very young child, like 6, 7, I was reading chapter books and having the time of my life with like Junie B. Jones, things like that, Amelia Bedelia. And so I say all that to say, I probably am getting ahead of myself, but I started reading for fun at age 3, literally when I started learning how to read. Like I hit the ground running, loving how to read, and it's been a beautiful journey. What's the first book you remember loving? Yeah, I knew I was getting ahead of myself. I knew it. The very, very first book I remember loving, It may be Marvin K. Mooney, Will You Please Go Now? That is literally one of my most favorite books of all time. And I still remember 90% of the book by heart to this day. Okay, like I still remember that book. And a close second I say would be Go Dog Go. Again, I was a huge Dr. Seuss lover as a small, tiny child. And out of all the Dr. Seuss books, those two were like my absolute favorite books as a really little kid. And those are like two of my earliest reading childhood memories, was reading those books with my grandma. What genre do you reach for the most? So this one is all over my bios on my Instagram and my TikTok. So you guys probably know, but my number one favorite genre is a mystery slash a thriller. Close second, like I would literally say it would be like a 1A and a 1B situation. 1A would be mystery and thriller, and 1B would be historical fiction. In the past few years, I've come to really, really love historical fiction. And what's so interesting is I was not a history girly in school, okay? I did not like history as a subject. I did not care. I was not interested. It would not grab my attention. However, historical fiction has become, as an adult, one of my most beloved genres. So it definitely is 1A, mystery thriller, 1B, historical fiction. Who's your current favorite author? Okay, well, I have a few current favorites. My number one would be Sadiqa Johnson, for sure. My number two would be Taylor Jenkins Reid, and my number three would be Kennedy Ryan. Now, some notable honorable mentions that I absolutely have to mention when talking about my favorite author would have to also include Alice Feeney, for sure. Alice Feeney has written one of my most favorite books of all time, Sometimes I Lie. I recently read Rock, Paper, Scissors, which I highly enjoyed. So Alice Feeney definitely gets an honorable mention, for sure. But definitely Sadiqa Johnson, because she has written two of like my highest ranked books ever. And TJR, I've read so much TJR, and I've loved everything that I've read by TJR. I've not been disappointed yet. So by default, yeah, she's a favorite. But I don't have one favorite, you know? So that would be my answer to that question. What book completely changed your love for reading? Okay, well, this probably has a bit of a story time to go with it. So as a small child, as I told you guys, I started reading very, very early at age 3 and was like very fluent, very good at reading, straight out the gate, read all the way through my childhood, right? Hit a rut around high school where when reading became like mandatory and I wasn't reading anything that was really like interesting to me. Like I read a lot of the classics, right? A lot of American classics and so forth. A lot of literary classics just in general. Like most kids in school system here in America, you know, we all read the same classics. So obviously like I read some classics that I ended up really loving in high school, but like in general, reading outside of that started to slowly dwindle down in high school to the point where it came to a complete stop in college. And so post-college, just trying to find my footing in the adult world, didn't really think about picking up a book to read. I was very much like catapulted into trying to figure out what life looks like post undergrad, right? And so I will say it took me getting back into reading via my best friend Sydney, who had a completely opposite story of me, really loving reading and me just like listening to her and having this sense of homesickness, listening to her talk about reading. And I was just like, I miss reading. Like that was my thing, you know, like I knew that was a new thing for her, but that's not something that was new to me, right? Like I knew what that feeling was like when you love a book and you're loving a story and you just want to devour it all up, right? I knew that feeling really well and I missed it. It was very much giving homesickness. And so I started reading again. And I will say this was just a handful of years ago that I really started reading again. And one of the books that really just changed the game for me to get back into it was Behind Closed Doors. That was one of the first books, not the very first book I started reading when I started to read again, but one of the first books that I read. And I instantly was just like, yeah, I'm locked all the way back in. Put me back in the game, coach. Put me back in the game. To this day, one of my favorite thrillers of all time. Like that was a very, very, very good book. That's a book that I would 100% reread again. It was super good. Like one of the most fast-paced cat and mouse thrillers I've ever read. I loved that book. That got me all the way back right, okay? So I would have to say that for my answer. Okay, so that's a little bit just like the basics of like my reading journey as just kind of like a whole. But again, if you want to know more, just let me know. But now we're going to move on to like what are some of my bookish habits. So the first question is, do you prefer physical books, ebooks, or audiobooks? All right, well, what's really funny is I'm gonna always be down for a physical book. Like, that's always gonna be my number one form of reading. I love a good physical. However, in the last year, I've really enjoyed doing immersive reading where you listen and read the book at the same time. That has changed the game for me. So audiobooks are great because I spend a lot of time in my car going on long commutes, whether it's an internship, whether I have to go home. No matter what's the case, I am in my car a lot. So having an audiobook in the car really makes commutes just go way quicker and just keeps me engaged and just in a really good mood oftentimes, depending on the material. Like, it just really keeps me uplifted. So I love audiobooks. However, as you guys know, I got a Kindle for my birthday, and having things on the Kindle has been super convenient as well when I'm not in a position to bring physical books. So as much as I love physical books, and that will always be my number one preference, I use all three pretty much equally across the board nowadays. And I find very wonderful benefits in all three formats, right? But it's never gonna beat that physical book format. But I will have to say, like, I use all three daily. So I find a lot of joy in using my Kindle. I find a lot of joy in having the audiobook so I can listen and read and just not miss out on a lot. And you know, I love a good physical. So I'm gonna prefer physical, but I'm a fan of all three. Are you a morning or night reader? I'm most certainly a night reader. I am 100% a night reader. I'm a night owl. My life does not let me be as much of a night owl as I am by personality because I just have so much going on. However, I love reading at night. I love ending my day in the bed reading while I'm trying to decompress before I really settle down, wind down, and go to sleep. Like, I love to read at night. However, I have found some joy in reading during the day when I have a free day. Like, reading on a Saturday morning before football games start has been quite peaceful and fun. But it just doesn't really compare to nighttime reading for me personally. Do you annotate or keep your books clean? So I do annotate my books, but not all my books. There are more books that aren't annotated than annotated. And I have this weird thing where when it comes to my fictional books that I have to annotate, because a lot of books I've read that I want to go back and annotate, it's just in the moment I read it and going back, I'm like, I should have like annotated. So I need to go back and like do that. With those, I like have this weird thing where I want to get a second copy of it. And I'm trying to tell myself like that is completely unnecessary and I am not needing to do that. But there's a part of me that's just like, get a second copy so you can have a clean copy of the book and an annotated version. And that just seems so completely unnecessary and over consumerist. Yet I want to do it so bad. So I don't know what the future looks like for my annotation journey, but that's how I feel. And I think it's because deep down, I want to keep most of my books pretty clean. Like, I don't necessarily want to have a bunch of books with a bunch of annotations in it. However, I kind of do want to have my thoughts like documented on what really stood out to me in those books. So I like to annotate my books. We'll say that. I do like to annotate, especially my nonfics. I love to annotate my nonfics because I do reference them often when I'm in conversation about the topic matter or using them as reference tools in papers that I'm writing or whatever's the case. So I do like to annotate my nonfics pretty often. Very rarely am I annotating a fic, but yeah, I feel like I would annotate books more if I had like second copies of them, of the ones I want to annotate. And that just seems so not okay to me. Like, I'm really wrestling with that. So yeah. Do you read multiple books at once? Yes. If you guys have watched any reading vlog of mine, you know I like to read multiple books at once. So absolutely, absolutely. Library visits or bookstore hauls? Ooh, that's tough. I love supporting a library. I haven't been doing that as much as I've been wanting to as a goal overall this year. I have not been on it that well, but I do love a good library visit. Nothing like a good bookstore haul, but I do love going to a good library as well. So we're gonna go with library visits over bookstore hauls. Let's talk about some of my book preferences and opinions next. The first question is enemies to lovers or friends to lovers? Gosh, coming straight out the gate with a question that I am going to roll my eyes at. Neither, absolutely neither. Like, okay, if I have to pick, it's gonna be friends to lovers. It's gonna be friends to lovers over enemies to lovers. However, as a girly that doesn't really love romance, can barely tolerate it most times. That sounds so terrible. It's like true and not true at the same time. That's something we'll unpack another time. But if I had to pick between the two, it's gonna be friends to lovers over enemies to lovers. Next question says standalone or series. Standalone. Like if I had to pick one over the other, it's gonna be a standalone. I love a good series, but I'm gonna pick a standalone every time. Favorite trope ever. Do I even have a favorite trope? I don't even think I have a favorite trope. Like, let's be so for real. I really don't. I don't have a favorite trope. I don't have one. Like, I don't even know why I'm trying to think of an answer. I don't have one. Least favorite trope. Hold on, guys. There's this post on my Pinterest where it's like this long list of tropes. I'm gonna look at it because truly, surely, out of all of these, there's gotta be one I can at least tolerate, right? Right? Okay, here's a list of tropes. I know this isn't necessarily like fully comprehensive, but this is a pretty good list. So let's look at this. Yeah, none of these I like. So no, I really truly don't have a favorite trope. I just wanted to confirm because I'm like, do I have one? No, I don't. Because okay. I'm trying to stay focused with the question, but bear with me. So the question, favorite trope ever, I don't have one, but least favorite trope, I'm looking at this list, I'm just like, ugh, I don't like any of these, my gosh. Because here's the thing, like, I can tolerate friends to lovers, I can tolerate friends to enemies to lovers, I can tolerate childhood friends to lovers, I can tolerate star-crossed lovers. Can I do bully to lover? I mean, like, I have read some bully to lover books that weren't horrible, but like, if you're asking me for a least favorite, I can tolerate it. A marriage pact, whatever. Sibling rivalry. Fake engagements, contracted relationship. Bro, I don't know. Maybe it's the pregnancy trope, to be honest. Like, maybe that might be it. Like, just thinking out loud, that might be the least favorite. Like, any sort of a pregnancy trope, like a hidden pregnancy, an accidental, any pregnancy trope, I think I can do all the way without. So that might be my least favorite now that I think about it. The next question says, a book that made you cry or scream. You know, books have very rarely ever made me cry, but very, very more often than that, they've made me dang near pull my hair out and scream and throw the book across the room. Now, as far as books that made me cry, the book that came closest to really just having me just like lose it completely was definitely The Yellow Wife, and at the same time, The House of Eve. House of Eve, rather. I don't think it's The House of Eve. House of Eve, both of them by Sadika Johnson. Both of those books had me so emotional in the sense of like, I would just sit there and just have to stare at the wall for a second while reading this book, or just like take a breath from it, or just like you really, like, Sadika's an amazing author, right? And something about the way she really is just in her historical fiction bag with really giving you what is a very realistic look at some things in the time in which it would have been happening. Yeah, she did it. Like, she was the one that really pulled on my heartstrings the absolute most, because those stories were so heavy, but so well written, but heavy. However, I have not yet read Kristen Hanna, and every single person that I have ever met that has read some Kristen Hanna has cried, okay? And I just feel like that might be me too. So I would be curious to do this question or talk about those books after having asked and answered this question, and see how those books are going to make me feel in the future, because I might read those. If I don't read those within this quarter, I'm definitely probably going to start off the year in the wintertime reading at least one or two Kristen Hannas, and I just feel like they're going to make me cry. Now, a book that made me scream, I will say when I first got back into reading, The Housemaid by Frida McFadden was one of those books that I was just like, yo, what is this? Since then, I will say a book that made me scream would have to be, in a good way, like a squeal type of a scream, I will say Kennedy Ryan's This Could Be Us. Yeah, that one definitee had me like, oh my gosh! Like, that one definitely did. And Hendrix's book, what is it, Can't Get Enough? Yeah, I was squealing because I was just like, this is so great! Like, yeah, that type of a scream, absolutely. Yeah, Kennedy Ryan. Okay, these are a little bit more rapid fire, but still talking about like bookish preferences and opinions. So the first one is hardcover or paperback. I prefer hardcover. Personally, I like the way hardcovers look on my shelves. I think they just look so nice and clean and professional and just library-esque. Annotate or never? Annotate. It would never be a never for me. Romance or fantasy? Between the two, I'm gonna pick fantasy every time. Bookstore or library? Library. Reading inside or outside? This depends on the season. Like if it's summertime, yeah, I'm outside, bro. But any other season, inside. As much as I love the spring, I sneeze my head off all springtime. So like, I'm gonna read inside. I'm not a fall and winter girly at all. Like I'm really trying to like become more of a fall girly and just really appreciate the season for what it is. But like at the end of the day, like I am a summer girly through and through. So reading inside for 90% of the year. Okay, so the final section is just a little bit more about me as a creator. So the first question is, what made you start BookTube? And I pretty much explained that at the beginning of this video. Like I just really wanted to expand. I started a Bookstagram last May. So this May of 2025 made a year. So I've had my Bookstagram for about a year and a half now. And that quickly grew. I mean, like I had 1,000 followers pretty quickly on my Bookstagram. And I like the format of TikTok a lot, how it's just real short, real concise. And I really was getting into book talk, like learning how other people do book talk videos. And so I too wanted to try them. So I started doing TikTok as well. And then really and truly, a lot of people were telling me like, Amani, you should really look into YouTube as well, because what a lot of y'all don't know is that a long time ago, I did have a YouTube channel on a more personal front where I was doing like makeup content, hair content. I just like, I wanted to keep going with that, but like, also I partially just like, I didn't lose interest in it at all. It was just more like, it was such a saturated time where everyone was doing like beauty and hair. And it was just kind of like, I was just like some girl. And at the time, like it just felt very intimidating. And I was just like, nah, I don't know if I just want to keep doing this. And what's funny is I inspired my little cousin Gabby to start YouTube, and she's very successful on her channel. So even though I didn't continue on in that path at that time, in that space, I'm still grateful that I tried it out and did it, because it inspired my little cousin Gabby to start her channel, and she's doing phenomenal. And I will put her info right here so that you guys can go follow her channel, because sister girl is doing the thing on YouTube. Okay, I'm very proud of her. However, a lot of people were telling me they like talking about books with me, like having dialogue. And I know this isn't dialogue because like you guys can't talk to me back, right? But you know, my friends were just very encouraging of me to try it and just to do it. So that's how we got here. Like I really thought long and hard about it last fall. Around this time last year, I was really thinking long and hard about it. And I was just like, nah, maybe not. Like I don't want to do YouTube again and feel the same way that I felt the first time. But, you know, I think being older and just more confident in myself and wanting to try regardless, you know, like I'm really good at fighting against my own thoughts a lot of times, where it's like my thought is I don't want to do it, but my other thought is Amani, conquer the thought, you know? So I just took a chance, and I made a little I made an Instagram reel that I was starting my channel, and I started it. It was last December, and yeah, I remember announcing it too. In fact, I'll probably insert that footage right here so you guys can see it. If you don't follow me on Instagram, you should. But yeah. Bookstagram friends, real quick, I wanted to give you guys a formal announcement on my Bookstagram. But guess what, guys? I'm starting a BookTube. Ah! Let me tell you something. I would have never done this had y'all not pushed me to do it. A lot of you guys have DM'd me over weeks and months, and y'all were like, some of you who do not know me have told me, oh, you would make a really good booktuber. And I was like, no, I wouldn't. But then like my roommate, my little cousin, like my sister, people have been telling me like, you should definitely do a booktube. So guess what, guys? I sucked it up and I'm doing a booktube. So it's been top secret. I've been working on it all of the last few weeks, just kind of slowly putting it together and figuring out how I want to do this, what I want to do as far as videos and topics and all the things. And I think we are good to go. So my very first video will be my top reads of 2024. So it will not be anything you will see here on Instagram tonight. It'll be launching tomorrow. So you guys will know what my top reads were for the year in the morning on my new BookTube. I'm so excited. So stay tuned. You're going to see the actual trailer and all the things on my story in the morning, and you can immediately subscribe. You can like it. You can watch it in the morning. But I just wanted to come on here and tell you guys that is what we're going to be doing in 2025. We are expanding. We are going to do the thing, and we're going to stick to it, and we're going to see it through. And I'm very excited about it. Booktube is a really cool place, actually, and I'm really excited to venture out and put my little toes in that world and see how it goes. But thank you guys for your encouragement and just even being kind enough to say you'd be interested in seeing me do it. I don't expect it to be like lots of views over there for a very long time, but just a few of you guys that said you really want to know like my expanded thoughts on things. I'm so excited to do that on Booktube. So I think we're gonna have a great time over there in the YouTube world. It's gonna be fun, but you will see that tomorrow. So I just want to come on here and wish you guys a happy new year. Please be safe out there if you're on the roads. Please be safe wherever you are. And I am excited for what 2025 will bring us all, especially in our fun little book world. I'm so excited to see what we're going to be experiencing next year in 2025. And yeah, I just wanted to wish you guys a happy New Year's Eve and a happy new year. And I'll see you guys tomorrow on my Booktube. Bye. And it's just really been fun. So like it's been definitely an interesting ride to like do Booktube, but that's really what made it pop off. It was really just my friends being very encouraging about me expanding this book community and book space that I built. What can viewers expect from your channel? For example, reviews, vlogs, cozy reading content, etc. All of the above. Definitely reviews, definitely vlogs, definitely cozy reading content. I want to do more cozy reading content. In fact, there will be some cozy reading content coming soon because I've been filming a lot of things this week to just kind of give you guys lots of content to be really consistent, because I'm about to go into a very busy holiday season and I don't want to fall off the bandwagon of really trying to be consistent. So there is a lot more cozy content coming down the pipeline, and I feel like this is the season to really be in my cozy content bag, right? So I'm really trying to like dive into that and to really like give you guys more. What are your goals for your channel this year? Well, as we're coming to the close of this year, my biggest goal is to just remain consistent, try my best. I've had a lot of hurdles, a lot of obstacles this year that has continuously thrown me off the bike, and I have continuously gotten back on the bike. And though I'm very happy about that, it's also been very draining and exhausting to keep having to like get that momentum back going, you know? So my biggest thing is just to close out this year, just having given y'all the content that you deserve and being proud of myself for what I've done, point blank period. Like I'm not gonna add anything else to my shoulders for this year. As we come to a close, I am thinking about my 2026 reading goals, but for now, that's really my goal for 2025 as far as my Booktube is concerned. What's one fun fact about you outside of reading? I love football. I don't know if that's a fun fact. That's just the first thing that came to my mind. No, I really do love football a lot. Like football is my favorite sport. It is definitely a University of Alabama household. Tide roll. Okay, Rama, Jamba, Yella, Hammer. Okay, it's that type of household, right? And I love football. So I will say, as much as I complain about the fall, I do love that the fall brings me football back, right? So I think besides reading, you can definitely catch me watching some football during these cold months. So we have a few more questions left, and these are, wow, okay. What do you want viewers to feel when they watch your videos? I want you guys to just feel you're talking to a friend about books. Like I really just want you guys to feel like we're on FaceTime, we're at a coffee shop, that we're hanging, I'm talking to you. I just really want it to be very down to earth, very realistic. Like I don't do a whole lot of like routines and things like that on here because like my life is so chaotic and that's just not realistic. That's not really what's going on in my life. Like I want to give you guys what's real, how I really feel about things, what I'm really doing. And I just want you guys to feel like you have a friend in me. You know, we may not know each other on a personal level, for those that really, we don't know each other on a personal level, but I want you to feel as though you do. You know, like I really want this to be just so down to earth. And so like when you watch this video, you can watch it while, you know, cooking or just chilling. Like, you know, it should just be something very easy and laid back, and you should be able to feel like you can exhale when you watch my videos. What are your top 3 core values as a creator? Honesty for sure. Definitely honesty and transparency is going to be number 1. Creativity. I really want to find ways to express my creativity in this space, and that's a very core value. That's a very close core value of mine, like very much probably the core value for me, as well as diversity. I really want this channel to showcase the diversity of the books that I read, the authors that I like, the events I want to go to. Like, I want you guys to see a lot. You know, I want you guys to learn a lot. I want you guys to see that, you know, there's more than just genres, you know, of books. I know we're categorized as genres when it comes to books, but there's so much, you know, there's so much about authors and different stories and what they bring to the world and what they show what the world looks like, you know, like these books are mirrors. And I really want to make sure that this space promotes diversity and very much just awareness of the world around us and just how stories impact people in different ways, and just being very cognizant of that because of the life experiences and the backgrounds that we all come from. What's a behind the scenes secret about how you film or edit? I don't know if I have any secrets. Like I really don't have any secrets. Like I really don't. There's really no secret, but I will say that like I have found it very easy for me to, like, when I'm really like motivated to do it, to really take advantage of that motivation and get a lot of content done, right? So you may see multiple videos of me in the same outfit. It was one of them days where I was like, you know what? This is the day that the Lord has made. And also the day that we're gonna film 3 different videos, okay? Like it gotta be done today. And I know that's like doing what we do, like what we call like batch content, like where you just like have a bunch of content and then you just kind of edit and schedule it out. I get that, but like truly that speaks to how I am as a creative. Like I really don't like to have to wake up and say, oh, I have to film this today. Like I really would like to not be in that space, or, oh, I have to read this. I really would like to not do that because this should be fun, right? So with that, like when I'm really feeling it, I get it done, okay? I get it done. So I don't really have a secret. It's just, that's why you probably see me in the same outfit for like 5 videos straight. I filmed 5 videos that day. Last question is, how do you stay motivated or avoid burnout? And honestly, guys, I'm still learning that. I'm going to be completely honest. As we just talked about honesty and transparency, I'm still trying to figure that out, okay? Like I hit a whole reading slump this summer. I succumbed to the burnout. I was like, you know what? I don't want to do it. I don't want to be around it. So I won't, right? Like there was no push through. There was no get through it. And I think that speaks to volumes about how my life is in other aspects where I do have to push through it, or I do have to figure out the balance of giving myself grace and also like life goes on. And so where I don't have to do that, I won't do it. And this is a space that's fun and it's not my job. I don't have to do this. So when I felt burnt out, I really did step all the way away. You know, like it's not like me stepping away really gave me many consequences other than like the algorithm got a little messed up and, you know, I have to rework to kind of gain momentum and some speed with subscribers and stuff. But like, other than that, the burnout took me out. So I really don't know. And I think for me, at least for this 4th quarter of the year, my biggest thing is just to take it one day at a time, right? If I'm feeling overwhelmed, being comfortable taking many things off my plate until I get things reestablished and then re-adding them back to my plate. And that includes things on Bookstagram, BookTube, and Book Talk as well. So the answer I have right now is that I don't know. I really don't know, guys. I really have no idea, but I do know that my goal is to just try my darndest, you know, just try my darndest. And we just take it one day at a time. Well, guys, that is a wrap on this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed getting to know me a little bit better as a booktuber and bookstagrammer and book talker. I hope you guys just got to learn a little bit more about me. And I really hate that it took me this long to realize that we never did this. Like we never really sat down and like got to know each other, you know? Like that's nuts of me, but here we are. And again, like I said, if there's anything else you wanna know, hey, this is the perfect time to do it. Comment below. You can message me on Instagram. You can message me on TikTok. I'm around on all the things. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to my channel. Please follow me on Bookstagram and Book Talk. And it's been an awesome journey so far, really connecting with you guys on this space. So I hope we can be even more personal and just really take this journey to new heights in the upcoming weeks and months left in this year. And we start off next year, you know, just keeping it pushing, honestly. So with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.